Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Raidcall D2L Season 3. This is B-Ball with Shred Kid once again. This is going to be a match between Alliance and Team Liquid, and I think this is one of the last matches before the playoffs of the D2L actually start. I don't know how much of the playoffs I'll cast. I don't know if you want to see me cast every single game like I did with DreamHack Invitational. Let me just be the first to say I will not do that, because, that was annoying for me to do. and, quite honestly, you know, I think a lot of teams are going to be experiencing for TI3, but the D2L GG playoffs, if there are some good games, we'll probably cast some of them. Hopefully that'll be entertaining. The playoffs will determine who goes to DreamHack Valencia later this year. But anyways, enough of all that jazz. Liquid and Alliance, I think, are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs regardless. So both teams starting their boot camp. Alliance actually turned down the Raidcall EMS to boot camp a bit hard. Liquid already boot camping in Vegas. So this should be a fun match. Ready to go?
Ready to go?
Alright, go ahead and pause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. Holy shit, that was loud. I don't know. Let me just turn my volume for a second. Liquid versus Alliance. Alliance, this has been a really interesting past month in Dota, because Alliance won in China, Navi just won in China, and I don't think teams like Fnatic, VP, Liquid are necessarily too far from Liquid or from Alliance and Navi. They've shown that they can deal with them. So, I don't know if it's just Alliance's and Navi's playstyle that match up against the Chinese, or if it's just, the skill gap is closing very rapidly. What are your thoughts?
I think Alliance played like they always do against the Chinese. They just did their Alliance thing, and it worked. Because I think part of it is that it's a pretty Chinese playstyle to begin with. But I think Navi changed up their playstyle. At least in my opinion. I haven't seen that many Navi games recently, but I think they played a little bit differently when they played against the Chinese, and I think it worked. So there's always going to be that aspect in TI3, right? Where you have some teams play, in playstyle A versus Eastern teams and playstyle B versus Western teams. Because it is different. You can't play ultra aggressive against some teams because it just won't work. So
do you think teams like Liquid, Dignitas, VP, Fnatic have hope because of
I
the
think
Alliance?
I think VP has hope, definitely. I think Fnatic definitely has hope because,
to be honest, I think all the European teams have hope. The American teams have just not been impressive at all.
I think Liquid would be okay if they got their shit together. Like, I know that they're all really good players, and when they play in top form, it's amazing. But when they don't play in top form, they'll just have someone go in and feed, or someone just, it's like, why are you on that part of that map? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish? What are you thinking? And Liquid, when they're on form, I think is top 5 teams in the world, definitely. I just think that they have to be in form for TI3. And honestly, I think they will be, but right now they don't look like they are, so.
Well, these tournaments, they're obviously not nearly as important as TI3, so I imagine both teams not going to be looking to give away too many strategies, but this is still, an all expenses paid trip to DreamHack Valencia, a decent prize pool. This is not necessarily the playoffs. Both teams are guaranteed to spawn in the playoffs, but I've got to imagine a team like Liquid, Dignitas, teams like Fnatic, who have been struggling recently but have been turning around pretty hard as of late. They want to get a bit of momentum because they can't just go into TI3 just say, oh, well, we suck, we can't do anything, have that really bad chemistry. I gotta think you want to win as many matches as possible just so you can get up those good vibes and at least find some strategies that can work. There's a difference between playing in competitive matches where, the other team might not be taking it seriously as if this match was played, I guess, in January than it is right now, and scrims, because you can't really count scrims.
Yeah, the thing is, you can hide strats before TI3, and that makes sense, and every team's going to be doing that to an extent, except for Alliance because they really have their one strat and that's it. But I think teams like Liquid are definitely hiding strats. But then you get past that and you say, a team isn't going to play intentionally shitty just because they want people to underestimate them. Like, no one would do that.
Money is money. If you're playing for money,
Yeah, well, I'm saying playing intentionally shitty doesn't help you.
That's true.
It's not like you're going to have some secret thing where you're going to come in and show everybody that you have some secret hero or whatever and just win. Playing intentionally shitty just means you're losing games. So, I don't know. I don't think that any team would do that. I know last year on day 1 when Navi was awful and just lost every game, other fanboys were like, oh, Navi was intentionally losing to get people to underestimate them so then they could win. No, they weren't. Bullshit. They were losing because they weren't playing well. I really don't think that it is a strategy to lose. And rant over, but We see standard bans.
Well, I mean, standard bans against Alliance, but Barretter was not banned out, so it is going to be the first pickup for Liquid. So Alliance is probably going to get something like a Nature's Prophet for Bulldog. They love to get those Bulldog heroes out of the way very early on, before teams like Liquid can ban out. And that's one of the advantages that teams like Alliance have, because obviously against Bulldog you want to get rid of Bear as well as the Nature's Prophet. And I've got to imagine Altar is Bulldog. But Bulldog has been making name for, well, not really making a name for himself, but he plays solid enough on other heroes that, like, even if you get rid of those other heroes, okay, Alliance can potentially get Wisp, they can potentially get Tree, they can potentially get, I mean, they don't like to get Tree. They seem to be the most fervent of Tree haters. They like to get Bat. I mean, you can't always ban on Nature's Prophet as well as Lone Druid. And Alliance going to get themselves Nature's Prophet with the opening pick.
I think that's how Chinese teams are going to beat Alliance, if they do so. I think they ban out Nature's Prophet, they ban out Lone Druid, and then Admiral Bulldog hasn't got a hero he can play. You're done.
But, I mean, you can still, he still plays other heroes adequately.
I don't think his clock is adequate. I don't think his bounty hunter is adequate. And I think if you force him to play one of those heroes, so like if you yourself have first pick, you ban out Nature's Prophet, you ban out Syllabear, and you first pick Darkseer, and then he can't play anything. There's no heroes left in the pool he can play. He's done.
But what if Alliance had the first pick? What if you give up an EGM Wisp
tricky.
or a S4 Bat?
Yeah, that's when it gets tricky. I think this style only necessarily works against
when you yourself have the first pick.
Yeah. But and no flame intended toward Admiral Bulldog. The guy's amazing at Nature's Prophet and the Syllabear, but I'm more than unimpressed with him playing any other hero. I really am. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, Liquid gonna pick up Tree as well as Barretter. Tree has been fading out recently because of the nerf at all. I personally don't think the nerf was necessarily that big of a deal. Other teams
Has he been fading out?
Sort of.
I think he's still picked up in every game, pretty much, isn't he?
Depends. I guess. I don't know. Maybe
I know Chinese teams kind of ignore him, but the Western teams still seem to always get him.
Well, I mean, we just saw in the last series that he wasn't. Well, he might have been banned because it was an AP game, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I would guess he would have been banned. I can't really imagine a lineup happening now where Trant doesn't appear.
Well, Liquid gonna get rid of OD, so they don't have a place in OD. This will likely be a mid-soul Barret. Well, this could potentially be an off-lane Barret as well, because Barret, of course, probably the most versatile laner in existence at the moment. Alliance gonna get rid of the Queen of Pain. Look for Alliance to actually get rid of the Weaver as well. Those are two of Tree's best friends. And Liquid, we'll see what they respond with. Ake most likely has Enchantress. Nature's Prophet will be played by Bulldog. So we need a hero for S4, we need a hero for EGM, and we need a hero for Loda. And Alliance, one of those teams, have a very, very versatile carry lineup. EGM, probably like most underrated Western support because he's so damn versatile on that support position. But usually, when Alliance gets the Nature's Prophet, they like to pick up the Windrunner for his support role.
Oh yeah, that's their support Windrunner is. I think they execute it better than any other team.
But they only get it when they have Nature's Prophet, so at least they have the guaranteed shackle shot.
Do they always pair it with Nature's Prophet?
I think there was a statistic in the G1 playoffs that the only time Alliance got winner was when they had Nature's Prophet on their team.
Makes sense. I mean, the guaranteed shackle shot from a 5-role support is a big deal.
So we'll see what Alliance decide to go for. Liquid taking a bit of time. I mean, what can you ban out? I mean, S4 has shown himself to be a very versatile. I mean, the thing about Alliance is outside of, I guess, Bulldog, all their other players are so versatile that they can play other heroes. But Liquid can get rid of the Puck. Pretty solid choice. S4's Puck is very, very strong. But yeah, I mean, how do you ban out against Alliance besides banning out Bulldog? They just have so many heroes that can play at such a high level.
They really do. They have. I think every one of their heroes or their players is one of the more versatile players of their role, and I think S4, is just a solid mid, great utility player. But he can play the semi carries okay too. He can play TA and Storm and stuff. Loda can do shit carries, or he can just AFK farm. Either way is fine with him. And I honestly think that Aki and EGM carry that team so hard. Like, everybody else on the team is good, but Aki and EGM, I think, are the reason why Alliance wins games. Alliance is never at a disadvantage, ever, in the early game because of those two players.
It's hard to believe that EGM was Team Whips at the beginning of the year, and now
And Q-Pad of all teams was like, we got to put you through more trials. We're not sure yet.
Well, Alliance gonna get themselves a Marana. I think when Alliance run the Marana, they run it as a carry Marana. I have never seen S4 play the Marana. I've only seen Loda play the Marana, although I've only seen, I guess, maybe 2 Alliance Marana games, and both times
I've
it was
never
Loda.
seen one, so.
So I think this will be a carry Marana, but who knows? It could be. It probably won't be a mid lane Marana. It possibly could be a support or an off lane. Well, it won't be an off lane because Nature's Bob will be in the off lane. So I've got to imagine this will be a carry Marana for Alliance. And I don't know, Marana against likes of Barrett as well as Trian. What does she offer you? Why is Marana becoming more popular recently?
Again, I haven't been watching Yoda, so I'm gonna have to ask you. Like, she is more popular?
She's
Really?
she's becoming a situational pick rather than never picked.
Is she a carry or a support?
She's carry, semi-carry to carry.
Really? Because I would think that she would be a support because of the nuke damage buff on Arrow. I don't. Wow, that's weird.
I mean, I guess she's a lot more survivable than other carries, and she has good global
Yeah, but other
spells.
carries deal damage. It's the thing. Other carries can attack you and it actually hurts. I don't know.
Well,
I guess the SD setup into Potom Arrow is something. They might be just trying to kill. Oh, you know what I bet it is? It's probably to kill the Bat Rider if he ever goes offlane. Because if you set up a Shadow Demon into a 5-second arrow, he's just dead. It's over.
Well, Liquid going to get themselves an anti-mage as well as a Crystal Main. One thing I'm a bit worried about for Liquid's lineup is until Barra gets a dagger, they really can't go offensive whatsoever. I mean, their lineup is so defensive by nature. So, I mean, if Lions just apply a lot of early game pressure, which, I mean, this isn't really the best aggressive Trine. This Trine, I don't know if we actually can go aggressive against Crystal Main, Anti-Mage, and Trien. So, we'll have to see what Lions decide to do with their lineup. I gotta imagine Lions will go defensive with their lineup. And Liquid probably just going to go with the standard defensive Trine themselves. Barra will likely go in the offlane, so Liquid do need a mid, so Alliance need a mid hero as well. And a lot of heroes have been removed from the pool, so we'll see what Alliance decides to go for. Night Stalker could be an option. TA, not the best against Barra, nor is she the best against Trent, nor is she the best
They
against...
should not pick TA. That would be a nightmare. Night Stalker's okay, but I really don't like him against Tramp Protector because he shuts down... Like, he shuts down all your ganks with the armor. Like, you really need your team to bait it out, so... I don't know. Like, I told you what I do. Every time I see a Tramp Protector, I pick Bat Rider or Pudge. If I'm supporting, I pick Veno. I doubt they'll pick Pudge here, but, you know, YOLO.
YOLO indeed, because Alliance going to get themselves a Pudge. Never seen S4 play mid Pudge. I've got to imagine he's good, because... Yeah. I've got to imagine he's good, because everybody who picks Pudge usually is good. And S4 is obviously a good player. I think I'm going to stop talking for now. But we have seen Pudge being picked up to protect themselves against Trien. Pudge does reasonably well against Crystal Main. And that's pretty much it for Liquid's lineup so far.
Pudge is really solid against Anti-Mage too. You can chomp him before he can blink if you shift Q it right, and the pure damage is so really solid against him. He just kind of dies. So he's great against Crystal Maiden. He's great against Tramp. Not the hero himself, but the fact that he the armor doesn't do anything for anybody, and he's amazing against Tinker. I have no idea why Liquid did that.
So Korok is going to be playing the anti-mage. Looks like Liquid have switched away their roles recently. TC has been playing the mid. I think maybe Liquid have decided that Korok is a bit too volatile for mid laner. I mean, maybe that's why EG has put JO back in the mid lane, because mid laner is such an important role that you can't really afford to give up deaths or really not have an impact, and TC seems to be a bit more of a stale mid lane presence. But yeah, I don't know if TC will go mid or if Bulba will go mid. I've got to imagine... I mean, Barrett destroys Pudge.
Bulba's gonna mid, I think.
But yeah, Tinker can't really offlane. He can't jungle.
He can offlane Tinker, but he just does Ancients. But that's not going to work against an Enchantress because she's just going to throw creeps at you. So it's got to be a mid Tinker. I really think it does.
Well, I guess we're going to find out very shortly. So introducing the players in teams. TC playing the Barrett, Korok is playing the Anti-Mage, Fluff playing the Crystal Man, Bulba playing the Tinker, IX Mike 88 is playing the Tree and protecting me on Satellite. So we're going to have S4 playing the Pudge, Ake is playing the Enchantress, Loda is playing the Marana, EGN is playing the Shadow Demon, and Bulldog, I've got to assume, is going to be playing that Nature's Prophet.
Okay. Hold the fucking phone. Where did he get that Nature's Prophet item? That's... I don't know. I didn't know that that was a thing. That looks really cool. Is that a Scythe of Ice?
It is a Scythe of Ice. How do you feel about that, bitch?
I'm a little bit jealous.
It's a good thing I don't, because I never play that hero. Cause,
I used to play him all the time, then I got bored, but my friend still plays him all the time, and I want to get one for my friend if they're in circulation. He's probably got, like, the only one or something.
Oh, they have the BTS Elgato courier.
Oh yeah, that's
Both
pretty,
teams have the BTS Elgato courier. Dang.
not bad.
I mean, this is a D2L match. Why aren't they using the Beetle there?
It's just disrespectful, is what that is.
Definitely. So Alliance actually going to go on the offensive with their trialing, so they want to make sure Trina doesn't get too many levels. Liquid probably not going to ward off their jungle in anticipation, although I don't know. How do you feel about this aggressive trialing? How do you feel about Enchantress as an aggressive trialer? She's better than
She's
Chen in
great. She
my...
kicks ass at it. I was going to comment that I think that this is, if Alliance choose to aggressive tri-lane, they'll win it really hard. Like, really hard. Because Anti-Mage can't do anything. Tran can punch you, but who cares? And CM is really good if you have other stuff that kills you. Like, she's great when she's paired with other killing supports, but she's not with a killing carry, and she's not with another killing support. So, while I think she's a great hero, she doesn't make any sense to me in this context. I'm sure she makes sense to Fluffer. I guess Bulba drafted, or TC drafted. But I don't... See, the thing is, you can send... Mid should win for Alliance, because Enchantress can just throw creeps at... I guess no, Bulba's just doing Ancients, and Bat's going to be mid. So she can throw creeps at either mid or Tinker, and that'll be good. And she'll have another creep left to gank the tri-lane with. And when you have the SD setup into Enchantress, it's really solid. And what might even happen is only Potom goes in lane, and then SD and Enchantress just run out and just kill lane and then go back to the jungle. So if I was Liquid right now, and obviously they don't know that Alliance is going to aggressive tri-lane, I think you ward off your own camps. Like, you hide them, and standard. I gotta go deal with my dog. Be right back.
Sounds good. But yeah, I mean, Liquid probably should ward off their camps. At the very least, Bulba, since he will be in the offlane, won't really have to devote himself necessarily too hard to the Ancients. I mean, Tinker versus Nature's Prophet, I've got to imagine Nature's Prophet wins the lane a little bit because of the treant harassment, and you can't always spam March Machines until you get the Soul Ring or the bottle. So until that point, Nature's Prophet treant spam should do quite a bit of work on that top lane position. But Bulba, he won't really have to restrict himself to solely the Ancients, won't be in danger of getting jacked too often. Semi Liquid did predict that Tron to a certain extent, but actually we are going to see Fluff and IX might rotate themselves in, probably just placing some wards to protect off the Barrier, and maybe Bulba as well if he goes in for the Ancients. That's probably got to be the reason, because, I mean, if Bulba is going to be in the offlane and if he thinks it is a defensive Tron, then they'd probably ward to protect him so his Ancients won't get jacked. But right now they're not seeing any movement from Alliance, and actually the ward did spot out Alliance securing themselves around on the bottom lane. Korok actually took a significant amount of punishment on the bottom lane, has one blink in store, does not want to use it, is just going to burn through a bit of his tangos, actually not even bothering to do that at all, just instead relying on living armor, as Fluff will ward off one of the camps with a sentry ward, preventing one of the big creep spawns. Each team going to come in with a disruption, as Fluff going to take an arrow right to the chin. Wow, 4 illusions went away on poor Crystal Main. She never stood a chance in hell. Living armor was already applied to Korok, as Loda picks up the first blood. Korok gonna get a bit of CS, but that is not really gonna mount too much in the long run for the Anti-Mage. And now we're going to see how Liquid responds to this aggressive behavior by Alliance. As for against TC, Barra should have advantage until Enchantress does manage to get enough creeps to sort of go in. And Ake has secured himself a Centaur. So, I don't know, this laning phase for Liquid is going to be very difficult to say the least. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet, so far 1-1. I mean, barely a minute has passed in the game, so you can't expect too phenomenal of CS numbers. And you can see TC just forced to play a lot more defensive because he has to be careful of those roaming supports. And actually Alliance smartly dewarded that Sentry Ward almost immediately for that big cap. And wow, what a creep for Ake to secure. It's that Harpy Stormcrafter. And that Chain Lightning hurts like a bitch in your early game. 140 damage for a spell that can cast so many times is absolutely immense. And TC gonna face a bit of punishment. Barrett does have the bottle, so he can sustain a little bit of punishment than he otherwise would be able to handle. But still, this creep is gonna make TC's life a lot more difficult. You know, Korok on the lane has actually been able to secure 10 CS, but now EGM has roamed to the bottom lane. Without the presence of Enchanters, they can't really go for a kill on an Anti-Mage immediately, especially since Loda only has enough mana for one arrow. EGM has a bit of mana for disruption, but Anti-Mage with the living armor won't be able to necessarily get too many kills. As Ix might get to take advantage. S4 was actually able to kill the Barrier with the help of the Stormcatcher. Apologize for not seeing that, as I don't know if he looks like he did use a hook to help secure the kill. But that is not shaping out to be a good beginning, as Korok going to get surrounded on all sides for disruption by an arrow, by a centaur. But we'll be able to blink away to safety. The living armor definitely helping to preserve his life, especially with the poor man's shield. But so far, things are definitely not going Liquid's way at all. So Ake going to rotate himself in. Barretter, with that death, definitely going to have a bit more of a difficult time. Again, Barretter is supposed to win this lane, but with Enchantress coming with creeps like the Stormcrafter, Barretter really just does not have that good of a shot. And now that S4 is level 4, he will be able to at least sustain himself in lane for a bit longer. And yeah, Liquid just not looking so good thus far.
Were the deaths both bot? I just got back.
No, one death was mid because Ake got a Stormcrafter and just assaulted TC over and over again, and S4 I think found an opening for hook. Another death was in the forest because Fluff actually tried to ward off one of the big creep camps, but EGM picked up the illusion, got disruption, and got 4 illusions while on poor innocent Fluff. And that was just not pretty for Fluff, as Korok gonna blink himself in disruption. Gonna preserve EGM's life for now. Arrow gonna fly and just barely whiffs, a bit mistimed, as communication was not there. Ake taking a lot of damage, has the healing wisps in effect. Fluff gonna take a bit more damage, a couple more hits will be the end of Fluff, as Loda trying to seek the kill. Living Armor gonna preserve life for now, but now they're gonna turn their hitches on IX Mike. They will pick up the kill on IX Mike, and the Tornado just doing a lot of annoyance to Korok. It's slowing him down, it's doing a bit of damage, and Korok will have to blink away to safety.
Wow, that tornado. That was on everybody that entire fight. That's just brutal. You can't fight against that. And yeah, this Enchantress pick is really working out. I really like it.
I mean, you would expect Barrett to beat Pudge, except for the Enchantress, because that Stormcrafter just put in work. And Bulba, yeah, sure, he doesn't really have to go to the Ancients, but he's going to take a lot of Treant punishment, and that's going to force Living Armor to Tinker. And if there's Living Armor to Tinker, you can Living Armor, obviously, the Crystal Main, or the Barretter, or the, I guess, you know, other heroes.
Armoring the Bat won't help, because he doesn't take Harass, and once Pudge is going on him, the rot burns through it immediately. It's like it was never even there. So, really, it's going to be, it should all be used bot, but they have to use it on Tinker just because they put this Lone Druid up, or this Nature's Prophet up here instead of a hero that isn't quite as aggressive.
Well, TC, despite dying, has been able to take advantage of that lane since Ake has been dominating his time. So nice recovery by TC, but again, this is
Camera
what
on Pudge,
should
he's got
do.
an Invis Rune.
As Pudge with Invis Rune TC, it looks like he does not have current. He has some knowledge of Pudge having this rune, as TC can initiate or get initiated with the Rot as well as Dismember. Living Armor will be applied, Last will be in effect as well, but here comes rotation by Bulldog. Firefly doing a whole chunk of damage, and Barretter will preserve his life for now. Actually looking to perhaps go back, no, is going to retreat in the end. So
Huge
a bit of an
mistake
unfortunate
from
run
S4.
as he whips the hook. Might be punished a little bit. Going to take one physical attack. It misses. Very unfortunate for TC. Is now he's going to get enchanted. Going to get a tower hit. And that aggressive behavior, very uncharacteristic by TC. He's more known to be a cautious player. Going to cost him his life as Mew on the bottom lane. Engagement will break out for EGM. The disruption going to preserve his life for a moment longer. But Treant was able to secure the kill nonetheless.
Okay, what S4 did there was he walked up to him, he chomped, and he tried to throw the hook after. But his problem was when he chomped the Batrider was looking straight at him. So he chomped him, and then when he was getting ready to throw the hook, the Batrider just lassoed, and that shouldn't happen that way. What you should do in that situation is either chomp him so he's not looking at you, or make sure that you just hook him first and then chomp him, which is honestly the best way to do it. And you just didn't.
Or chomp Bulba.
And Bulba's dead, yeah.
Well, couldn't be chomped because the hook was more enough to snatch up that pretty easy kill. As Pudge starting to get his mojo rolling, has secured himself 2 kills. I mean, that was just very uncharacteristic by TC, who's known to be a pretty cautious player in general. But he dove in against 3, and he definitely paid for it. As
yeah, he got
get
punished
that
pretty hard.
And that uphill miss definitely not favoring him. But now Pudge level 8, whereas Barretter level 7.
Look for Pudge to TP and smoke to bot. Oh, he can't buy the smoke, just the TP. So yeah, he's just gonna TP no smoke.
You know, Shadow Deer and Shadow Poison going to be applied, just wearing away at Liquid slowly but surely. I mean, Korok has been able to find some semblance of farm. 22 CS is something, but it's not going to be enough against Alliance's current lineup. Meanwhile, Ake has retreated to the defensive jungle, so Liquid going to be under a little bit less pressure. As S4, Disruption going to be applied to Korok. Oh, but the arrow was not there in position as, wow, the anti-mage illusions gave Korok enough vision, or gave S4 enough vision to actually allow S4 to plop the hook squarely on Korok's face. And Korok never stood a chance in hell.
Nope. And if we saw what was going on before there, or before that, TC was scared that Pudge was invis or hasted or something, so he was actually jungling. Oh
Hook
wow.
and a half. S4. No vision, because Soul Catcher was applied, and that obviously does not give vision. I think maybe they use the Shadow Poison vision spam, but obviously when Shadow Poison is on the target, it won't give you vision. Only the path of Shadow Poison gives you vision. But S4 did manage to land a very long range hook, and this Pudge, level 8, is starting to put in a bit of work in. Unlike against most slimes where Pudge fades out very quickly, I don't know if he necessarily fades out against the lineup Liquid has.
Not against Tinker. He just gets to Tinker every fight.
Not against CM.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's CM, that's different. It's the Tinker who's like an actually important hero once you hit late game, and he's just gonna get tunnel vision on by Pudge.
IX Mike gonna get arrowed as it looks like he was trying to apply a bit of pressure to EGM. Why was IX Mike out there so far? Not too sure, as Loda gonna take a bit of damage, but Korok not close to level 6, won't be able to pop the Mana Void, and Loda will be able to escape, not even 8 points of Mana Break, and we're gonna see another rotation by S4. There was a reward spotting out S4's movement for now, but this is just denying Anti-Mage a whole lot of experience, and as long as Barra is not faring necessarily that well, Pudge can afford to just camp here on the bottom lane and really prevent
Batrider's looking for Nature's Prophet, but he can't find him. Batrider just wasted a full minute when Admiral Bulldog just went back to base, so whoops.
And Alliance didn't even have ward as Ake gonna be in a bit of trouble. Did pop up the Nature's Attendance, so you will be able to survive a bit longer as the Flamebreak will be able to latch, but now S4 gonna teleport himself in. Bulldog gonna be there as well. They're gonna drop a couple impetuses right onto TC, but the hook gonna be more than enough to clean up the kill. That pure damage, the immense amount of damage, enough for IX Mike to completely mitigate, as Korok gonna take a lot of punishment on the spell and will die to a Starfall. Meanwhile, IX Mike looking to secure the kill. Actually, Tinker with the rockets gonna come in. Bulba with Soul Ring as well as a full or an empty bottle, doing a lot of work as Loda has already asleep. Loda likely gonna die, gonna take a laser, but it's only level 1 laser. As Loda gonna try with an arrow, trying to get a kill, and IX Mike will pick up a kill for IX Mike can pick up the Lucy. Loda trying to be a hero. Did still manage to put in a whole bunch of work. As here comes Bulldog, gonna go back in, but Bulba gonna layer down the March Machine's Fluff, looking to teleport himself out to safety, but the March as well as the rockets. Bulldog going ham a little bit too hard. Ended up paying for it as Bulba gonna pick up a much needed triple kill for Liquid. Still, Liquid in a huge, huge disadvantage.
Absolutely. And the BOT doesn't even help that much on Tinker, because you're up against the Nature's Prophet who can just kill you. he'll just TP to the lane that you're in and you'll die once he has Hex, so could be a problem.
So, Liquid, what do you need to do? How will they get Korok a room to farm against a Pudge and a Nature's Prophet? And Shadow even.
The Nature's Prophet isn't going to be a problem until Hex. Neither is the Pudge if you are moving around the map right, but I think Korok just has to move around the map and make sure that he isn't in the same place as the enemy supports. Which is exactly... Oh, God. That's a headshot.
That was a blind hook. How did he know?
No, hold up. There's no way that was blind.
I guess maybe they used the Shadow Poison scout out.
Nope, he saw. Nope, the catapult saw him moving just a little bit.
Well, Liquid able to secure 1 kill at the very least, as TC getting very close to the dagger, but S4 going to teleport himself in and looking to pick up another IX Mike kill to add to his collection. Those tree and branches getting killed off one by one, and S4 getting very, very farm. Farm 0 and 3, as this is what Pudge needs to do. He needs to get his farm from hero kills, and he is getting a whole chunk of farm in response.
You always hear, like, Pudge is pretty farm independent, and it's true, but if you get items on him, and you don't need them, but if you get them on him, all of a sudden you can't kill him. And what happens is he turns on Rot, he runs into the middle of a team fight, and he laughs at your team. And, you know, you're thinking, wow, this must be really embarrassing to be playing against this Pudge right now because you can't do anything about it. At that point, he doesn't even have to hit hooks because he just runs at you. So if he keeps getting farm and if he gets, like, a tanky item up, and there's 2 schools of thought. You can go for the tanky item, which is there's a million, or you can go for, like, a positional item, like Force Staff or Lothar's. And I don't know what S4 is going to do, but both are valid. I think position might be better because he's playing against the Tinker, so it's just easier to grab him.
Well, EGM does spot out TC on the middle lane. Meanwhile, they are going to spot Korok as well. Do they have enough stuns to lock in position? Korok being trademark aggressive, trying to go in. We'll try to kill off the Stormcrafter as meanwhile, Bulldog going to track Korok's retreat. Going to do a lot of damage. Lucy going to heal up Croc to a significant degree. Last already being applied to EGM. Fluff surrounded in all areas. Will likely be the first one to die in this occasion. Ake does pick up the kill on Fluff as all hell is breaking loose. Tinker gonna come in. Tinker should be the king of this occasion, but Pudge has arrived to the party. Arrived a bit late, but still arrived nonetheless. Wrath of Nature gonna fly in as Nature's Power did actually buy it back. Pudge going to work. Didn't land that hook, I don't believe. The arrow just gonna barely whip. Bulldog still going in. The living armor gonna preserve Bulba's life for now as the wow, that regeneration combined with that damage block just allowed Bulba to withstand so much punishment. And all things considered, that was, I don't know who that favored. I guess Liquid slightly.
At this point, I think we're in the actually pretty common case of if you trade evenly but don't lose any towers and you have the better late game, you win. And I think that's a win for Liquid because Tinker's getting items. That's pretty important.
Yeah, Tinker didn't die, Anti-Mage didn't die, Bauer didn't die.
And they didn't lose any towers, which is the main thing.
And they just probably bought back, so that's going to delay whatever item he's going to go for. Likely going to be either an Orchid or a Shadow Blade for Bulldog. He doesn't like to get mecha like a lot of the Chinese Nature's Prophets do.
Yeah, imagine that if you had to actually help your team. Ugh, it would be the worst. Shadow Blade it'll be, I bet.
Such a hater. It's okay.
I don't know. I really think that Mech on Furion's like really, really good. And uh-oh, top lane.
Disruption,
Boom.
arrow, holding Croc in place, and there's just simply a bit too much damage. Loda picks up the last hit. Purge was applied to ensure the kill. Loda gonna leap out to safety, but that will cost EGM his life. EGM such a selfless son of a bitch. Gonna be more than happy to give up his life in exchange for that Edge Mage kill. And Edge Mage, where can he farm? I feel pretty bad for Croc in this game, because where can he actually farm? S4 looking for an opening, as he might be able to drop a hook, just barely with some X Mike. As if that armor or that model size was a bit larger, that might have actually landed.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's hard to get Trant a bigger model, but it was close. You know, it wasn't a bad hook.
Dude, remember old Pitlord? New Pitlord's
Oh
like
my
slimmed
God.
down. Old Pitlord was fat as hell. It was
Wait,
so
how
easy
do
to get
you know-
creep blocks.
How do you know the new Pit Lord?
It's new Pitlord in Dota 1. He got his model size reduced.
Yeah, I haven't played Dota 1 in like a year or two, so...
Well, S4 gonna find himself Overgrowth, Lasso, not in effect just layering Firefly damage, but TC taking a lot of rot damage. Meanwhile, S4 trying to scuttle on either with the Haste Rune. Can he actually get away? One more hit will be the end of him. Korok gonna come in, the Urn gonna heal him up, Moonlight Shadow will be applied. Oh my god, S4. That Haste Rune and the Moonlight Shadow came at such a good opportunity, and now Bulldog gonna be strong. Centreward will reveal his position. Bulldog will probably die, but the arrow gonna fly and gonna hit TC square on the face. March Machines should cover Liquid's retreat as TC almost died, but the living arm gonna heal him up to a bit longer. Fluff actually did manage to die to Wrath of Nature in the end. So despite Alliance looking in a very uncomfortable position, they actually managed to even out that engagement.
Yeah, they're getting okay trades, even though it seems like they should be losing all these fights. They're doing okay. And did you see what Korok was doing there? He was, oh wow, that just missed. But he was getting ready to ult the Pudge, and then he realized Pudge was on full mana, and it would have ended up in a Dota Fails video if he ulted him.
I mean, that's gotta be Korok's worst nightmare, appearing on Dota Fails.
Oh god, that would be so embarrassing.
Tinker has secured himself a dagger, so now split pushing annoyingness of Bulba can come to effect. And Bulldog is gonna pick up the Shadow Amulet. His Midas is on cooldown. Every farmer's worst nightmare, dying with their Midas off of cooldown.
Oh, it's the worst. Even worse than being on Dota Fails, in my opinion.
I mean, I literally can't think of a crueler fate when I play a carry. It's just
Yeah.
like... if Bulldog
Pretty sure
had-
they... But yeah, I'm gonna say Bulldog is definitely going for Lothars. Or the casual Shadow Amulet to, you know, hide in the lane and then attack people, but... I think the way Alliance plays, where Bulldog just plays a semi-farmer, it makes sense to have him split push and just farm items. But I really do think that Furion is one of the best natural mech carriers in the game, and I wish that more teams would do it.
Well, here comes Alliance. They're going to smoke up. Bulldog not going to farm just yet because he is smoked up. Will they get for Rush? They will indeed, as Ake does plant an Observer Ward. Ake, no points in Untouchable. And he's only level 8, so you got actually maxed out Enchant.
Yeah, when you're being that aggressive and constantly getting creep after creep after creep, he was in there for a long time. It makes a lot of sense to get at least 3 points into it. Because 2 points isn't really enough. It's like 25 seconds. It's not enough to get that many creeps. So, and I think that he might, I don't know, I don't think that he should get more than one in Untouchable for a little while at least.
I mean,
There are more than one in,
you don't really need it until you go for Rosh, which they don't need, or until Anti-Mage gets farmed, which won't be for a while.
He's got problems with nukes. which is the issue. Because Anti-Mage isn't going to attack him now, like you said. The only way he dies is to Bat Rider combo and Tinker nukes. So if he just gets maybe 4 or 5 ranks in stats and then starts going into Untouchable, I think that'll work just fine.
Well, Nature's Prophet does finish the Shadow Blade. EGM, Smoke Arcane Boots, pretty much standard for EGM. Pudge working his way towards a 4-staff, 5-0 and 4. He's starting to get a bit of farm since Liquid have not revealed themselves on the map. And look at Liquid's wards. They're placed so damn defensively. Alliance, I don't know if they've necessarily had many wards counterward, or if, well, I think that's probably the case since Liquid have been spending a lot in sentry wards. But Alliance don't have many wards on the map, but they seemingly don't care since they are farming pretty well. And they're looking for an engagement on the top lane. TC does have the dagger to get him out of harm's way. And I Smoke to see to help him run away a bit faster, but that might be all for naught if the engagement is successful. Here comes the Shadow-Bladed Bulldog. Moonlight Shadow will be the initiation as TC... Oh,
You
man.
saw they gave it away.
Who'd they see?
S4 moved up too fast. He wasn't faded.
I wonder why Bulldog just didn't go in with the Shadow Amulet hit, or with the Shadow Blade hit.
Yeah, that would have worked too. Oh, S4. Look at how sneaky he is.
I mean, he's channeling his inner demon as there's nobody near him. If he wants to suck, this will truly be... Well, he's not going to even bother because he doesn't know if anybody's there at all. Though
Yeah, they didn't even have vision. He was just hiding there, and if 10 people walk by, he won't even know. But, oh well.
You know,
I think we're sort of moving into the stage of the game where Pudge can't get that many solo picks, because the way... After the laning stage breaks down, there's a little bit of a window in which you can just run around and kill stuff. But after that stage happens, it's like the early mid-game stage just sort of ends. You can't really kill people anymore because people aren't going to be by themselves. So at this point, he just has to run around with his team and try to make picks happen. He can't make solo picks happen. And this is the most awkward time for a Pudge, because if you die like 3 times in this area, you're never going to get any items up, and then you'll only be useful for Hook Dismember. But if you can sort of survive through this, you can be enough of like a tanky person in teamfights to be annoying.
Well, I think Alliance have the right measure of it. They're going to go for a tower push. I mean, Korok only has a Perseverance, getting pretty close to a broadsword, but look at the pursuit. They're just... Korok is just trying to ring around the Rosie, clearing up Ancients whenever possible. I mean, that's pretty much his only reliable source. Liquid doing the smart measure by pushing the middle lane. In response is the courier might die! Oh! He's going to get Pudge. Elgato proves to be a bit too elusive for the likes of Korok. As, meanwhile, the mid lane still continue to be pressured, but Liquid have to back off. Mike stayed around. You're in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. As here comes Pudge. I'll just get a barely whiff.
It was close. But yeah, if we saw what happened before, you can't do a disrupt into a Pudge hook. It just does not work. Because it makes 3 of them, and the real one's in the middle. Like when it spawns, the real one's exactly in the middle, so you can't hit it. Like you just can't hook someone out of that, so oh well.
Fluff trying to get a little bit of farm. Might end up paying for it. Well, he is walking pretty quickly as Bulldog gonna initiate with the Shadow Blade hit. Here comes the teleport. Loda gonna come in. The missiles won't be able to save the life of Fluff. Not too sure why Fluff was so far forward, as blind hook into the middle of nowhere for S4, just scoping out the opposition.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Liquid just continue to farm up, and they're not farming very fast. Oh, hook right onto Korok, as Korok.
He didn't shift Q. Oh well.
S4 is such a scrub.
He is. Hey, I mean, what's his score? It's like 6-1 or something, 5-0.
Well, Alex might get himself arrowed on the top lane, and will die before he can pop the overgrowth. Loda will leap out to safety as here comes Barrier. Gonna pick up a kill on Loda, so far it's a 1-for-1 tree-end for Mirana. Definitely worth for Liquor. They're gonna blink in, trying to kill off EGM. A couple more hits will spell the end of the Shadow Demon, but Bulba now looking for man. But here comes Barrier. They're gonna be on the pursuit, and EGM will get killed off as a result. So Liquid preserving themselves in this game for a bit longer, as they're making a nice bit of momentum for themselves. The unfortunate thing is that Korok just simply can't farm, and Tinker can't solo carry by himself forever.
Yeah, you can permahex people and have 10 marches down, but once you hit Ultra Late Game, that's not going to matter. And I actually wanted to say, I really like what Loda's doing with his items. He's going for my favorite Potom build, which is just all in early game. You get the bottle, phase boots, drums, and Aquila. So as many early game items as you possibly can, and then you go into big stuff like Manta Diffusal. That's what he's doing, and it's one of the reasons why they're snowballing so hard, because when you move that fast and just have enough stats to hit nukes, oh, Fluff is going to get arrowed.
Oh,
easy
Fluff.
dodge, easy life, though.
Well, Fluff gonna teleport away to safety. Loda only gonna drop a Starfall. As Meow, tower push from Liquid gonna come in. Here comes TC with the Blink Lasso onto EGM. EGM gonna die. Moonlight Shadow not enough to preserve the life of the Shadow Demon. And we'll see if Liquid decide to push in. They have a lot of layers of March. So I think they can push it on this tower. As Line's starting to lose a bit of momentum. Korok gonna farm some neutrals. And Barrett does pick up the last hit. Ake gonna come in, gonna disable TC's dagger with a couple of impetus shots. Here comes S4 Alex Mike, gonna find himself arrowed. He's still invisible with Nature's Guys. The hook just gonna barely lift, but they are gonna kill off Bulldog Liquid, as Meow S4 is on the hunt as that Force Staff, and he will be able to chase down Bulba. Bulba desperately trying to get his blink back online, but is gonna get continuously disabled. Here comes Sprout, the arrows, the whiffed hooks. What was that hook S4? Come on, man.
I don't think S4 is that familiar with Pudge. Which, to be honest, is probably a good thing because he works on practicing more important heroes, but
Pudge, most important hero.
Aki's just been attacking IX Mike over and over, and he can't kill him because of this stupid ability. He's attacked him like 100 times. There we go. Look at these sentry wards. It starts. Look on the left where the first one is, by the where S4 is right now. He placed like 3 sentry wards to try to find. Yeah, 2 minutes later, and IX Mike goes, "Well, I tried." That was the derpiest thing I've ever seen.
I gotta imagine Ake was at full mana, and at the end of the engagement, he was at 0 mana. Meanwhile, Korok died, not too sure where. He died. R.I.P. Died to Loda. Solo gank. R.I.P. In peace.
Yeah, you can't say RIP without saying in peace, right?
I mean,
It's the internet for you. This is actually
standard.
really cool. Check this out. Aki got a medallion. Strictly for Roshan. Like, there's no... Actually, it's not true. It helps out Bottom's DPS a lot. But that's not an item you see a whole lot. And Bat Rider's gonna go and smoked. Get him stuck! Get him stuck!
Got Pudge. What are you gonna do about it? Oh, arrow! TC walks right back into the path of an arrow. Very unlucky for TC. Could not see the arrow coming. As maybe you could. As we're gonna take a bit of damage.
That, or stop missing hooks. Come on. Embarrassing your family.
Well, Fluff gonna come in with the freezing field. Best ultimate game. Kills off Loda. And Fluff putting in work with the CM. Will get herself hooked for a troll. Nature Spot does pick up a kill. Fluff might end up dying. The urn being applied. Oh, gotta watch S4. Make big plays.
He's gotta hit the hook. He's gotta do it.
Big plays. TP in by Tinker. Oh, Force Staff. Oh, hook. What a hook. No self-deny. Disappointed. Wicked 6-3 given to Bulba. What a feed.
Here's the problem with S4's Pudge. He's got that hesitation. When you play Pudge, you gotta have 100% confidence that your hook's gonna hit, even if you know it's not and you're a bad Pudge. You just gotta know, like, you know what? I know this guy. I'm in his head. He doesn't stand a chance, and you just gotta throw the hook. S4, he's like thinking, he's plotting it. You can't do it. You just gotta do it.
He's the son of Magnus. He's gotta be deliberate. Otherwise, he'll meet with RPs like Xiao 8.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. When you're scared to whiff a hook, that's when you whiff a hook. I don't know. It's my own personal philosophy, and it might be why I'm such a terrible Pudge player. So really, take what I say and reverse it if you want to be good. But anyway.
I mean, you know what the best cure of that is? Just never play Pudge. Then you can't be made fun of missing hooks. That's what I do.
Problem solved, right?
Yeah, dude. That's why I play Skelly King. One button.
You can't
2
miss
buttons.
that stun.
2 buttons now.
Also, that way when you die, you can blame your team twice.
Dude, that's the biggest deal. I was just checking out the goal graph. Big lead for Alliance in both departments. Liquid, I mean, Korok gonna have his battlefield up in 150 gold. As for sees him.
Oh, wow, that was nice.
Oh, snap, but couldn't get the dismember off. That was maybe a bit of fancy plays, because I don't think S4 would have been able to pick up the kill regardless.
Yeah, he was... Korok was just gonna live, so... Oh, well. Korok almost has his Battle Fury. We're closing in on 27 minutes. Standard.
And Meow Bulldog gonna be in the opposition, has finished the Hex. So now even when Korok does have his Battle Fury, he has to deal with that Hex.
Tinker's got Hex, though. That's a big deal.
So he can rearm. Yeah, Bulba has definitely been carrying Liquid thus far. But I mean, Tinker can only do so much.
Tinker can only do so much, especially when there's a Hex on the field. Oh, there we go.
Yep, Hex into Hook, into Bite, into Death. Perfectly executed by Alliance.
You know what I want to see this game? I want to see an arrow, and then he hooks him into the arrow as it's flying.
That might be a bit
So
ambitious.
it's the coolest combo. It usually happens accidentally, but you always say that you did it on purpose. You're talking with your friend on Skype, you're like, you did that on purpose, right? And you're like, yeah, definitely, of course. And then you both feel good about yourselves, even though you both know it wasn't supposed to happen. But I feel like Alliance could do it intentionally, and it would be really cool.
Uh, intentionally.
Oh,
It's
they
a
almost did it. They almost did it right there.
snap. They got the hook on, or they got the air on TC. They got the hook on Bulba, and Liquid just starting to crumble one by one by one by one. This is just not Liquid's game today. Alliance with just a really aggressive lineup punished Liquid's passive lineup very easily. I felt like.
Well, the Tryon armor does nothing against the Pudge. It does nothing. And every time Pudge hooks somebody, Tryon tries to armor him, and I think IX Mike shouldn't even be doing that, because if he's armoring someone and then it's instantly dispelled, it's down for 15 seconds, and Pudge moves to the next target, and then you got issues. So, I don't know how serious of a pick this was from Alliance. I don't know if they're, like, actually seriously considering Pudge against Tryon, but I would consider, yeah. I would consider trying it as a serious pick. I think Navi might try it in the International, because they actually have someone who's like a really good Pudge player. I think S4 is just playing Pudge because he feels like it fits, not because he likes playing it, you know?
Yeah, I think Pudge a bit too risky for S4's liking. He plays a little bit more calculated, but yeah, definitely saw in TI2 a lot of respect bans going towards Dendy's Pudge. I mean, that was pretty much every Chinese team versus Navi. They always ban out Pudge.
Well, part of that is because,
They had more bans.
well, not that, but I'm trying to say this without sounding racist. Chinese players don't play Pudge in pubs, and when they do play Pudge in pubs, it's not really like that terrifying Pudge who's always in the right place and knows all the little tricks with smoke and where to put wards and stuff. So if you never play against a Pudge like that, you don't know how to play against him. You gotta play different, you gotta hold your camera different, you gotta move your hero different, and if you're not used to doing it, you'll feed. Like, there's no other way to say it.
I mean,
and I think Chinese pubs don't like Pudge, so the pro players don't get practice against it.
I mean, there's no way to say it, but that was probably the most racist thing I've ever heard you say. You know, there's no racial sentiments about it.
Have you ever noticed that black people are really good at basketball? No racism, no racism. Anyway,
God.
I'm the worst.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey, a white person is talking
Oh
shit.
no, poor Flop.
Well, the death, mayhem, everything is breaking loose. Liquid, dying, March Machines, Bulba can't do everything. S4 dies with the ages. I mean, this is just... I don't really feel like Liquid are necessarily playing that bad. I think Bulba's playing out of his mind. I just feel like Liquid just really... I mean, this just shows you the importance of laning and the draft. I mean, it literally makes up 75% of your game.
I do think this was an outdraft. I don't understand the Crystal Maiden Tryon anti-mage tri-lane. And I think Alliance's tri-lane was so in your face with the Enchantress and the SC bottom setup. I think it was just so in your face. And Liquid couldn't deal with it. And I think that's why they lost the game. Like, the Pudge is cool and all, but I don't think it was a deciding factor in this game. I mean, he's 8-1 and 11. It's obviously pretty solid, but if he was playing Storm or something, he'd be fine too, you know? So...
Well, I mean, Rock has finished the Battle Fury, but he's going to find himself hexed up. Here comes S4 trying to approach with the hook as well as its member. We'll hook IX Mike instead. Korok can do nothing but blink away to safety. I mean, Alliance, they pretty much won. No, they didn't pretty much win. They won every single lane. Maybe if TC didn't go in super aggressive in the mid lane, but even then, I don't know how much. Actually, I don't know. Maybe a faster dagger.
Even he had already lost that lane before that death. Pudge got farm he shouldn't have, but that was just because of the Enchantress pick, so...
Well, Alliance looking very sharp. Liquid, not so much. Mainly the draft, I didn't necessarily think they played that badly, but they definitely got punished. Probably not going to bring you game 2. I'm just going to bring you bits and pieces. Might go into the playoffs, but just to update on the playoffs, the only teams who did make it in the playoffs, unfortunately, were EG and VP. The rest of the teams did make it in. So a bit sad for me because I like both those teams, but then again, I like every team, so I'll be sad no matter what. But yep, the playoffs is going to be in the D2L along with the Defense 4 finals, Raidcall EMS, and then TI3, bitches. So hopefully enjoy that commentary. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.